Hello again. Welcome again. Welcome back. Welcome to a new class. To class number 174. Yes. 174 classes, which means we have completed 173 classes. Yeah. Which means that 174, after we finish 174 and 175, then we only have 20 classes left. So now, as of right now, con efectividad a partir de ahora mismo, as of right now, we have 22 English classes left. And when we finish this, we will continue at the intermediate level. All right, let's begin on camera number 1, reviewing the class from yesterday. A review. 1, 2, 3. All right. All right, worked, walked, talked, parked, looked, liked, me gustó el restaurante ayer. I liked the restaurant yesterday. Fui allí andando. I walked there. El año pasado trabajé ahí. Last year I worked there. Aparqué delante de la puerta. I parked in front of the door. Por cierto, en front of es delante de, no enfrente de. I parked in front of the door. I looked at the menu. Menu in English es la carta, no el menú del día. The menu. I looked at the menu. I walked to my car. I drove my car to the restaurant. I parked in front of the door and I walked to the door. I looked at the menu and I said, this restaurant, I remember, I worked in this restaurant 10 years ago. Parked, liked, walked, talked, worked, looked, etc. Hay que practicarlo. I'm sorry. It's a very difficult phonetic sound to make. It's very difficult. But you must practice it. And if you don't practice it, you don't learn it. And you practice it saying it aloud. Worked, worked, ka, te. Ka, sonido de ka, dura, worked, sonido de te. Worked, walked, talked, parked, liked, looked. Okay, left. All right, so you need to practice these things all the time. Because if you don't, then the only beneficiary is me. You pay money for classes and you never learn. And you continue paying more money for more classes and you never learn because you never practice. The people who practice are bad for me because I lose them as clients. And they don't pay me because they learn the language. They don't need me. Students who study and work hard reduce the cost of learning English. Every hour that you study English on your own time, you reduce at least 1 hour the cost. Okay, worked. Yes. Sophia Loren worked with Carlo Ponti, her husband, for many years. For many years. Harrison Ford worked with George Lucas on several movies. Harrison Ford also worked with Steven Spielberg on several movies. Grace Kelly worked with Alfred Hitchcock on 1 or 2 movies. James Stewart worked with Frank Capra on several movies. Also, James Stewart worked with Alfred Hitchcock on 1 or 2 movies. Cary Grant worked with Alfred Hitchcock on at least 2 movies. Yes. And Al Pacino worked with Francis Ford Coppola on at least 3 movies. Yes. And Robert De Niro worked with Martin Scorsese on several movies. He worked. Now, I didn't work with Harrison Ford in Hollywood because I was living in Spain. Okay, but I worked in several companies in the 1970s. I worked in several companies in the 1980s as an implant from outside. I worked. And I worked on TV last year. I worked in this studio last year. I worked in radio in the year 2004. And I worked in the radio in 2005. My father worked for a big company for 35 years. My mother worked at home. My mother didn't have a job outside of the house, but she had an important and critical job in the house, at home. She worked as a housewife, sus labores. She worked as a housewife. All right, now my sister, no. My sister doesn't work as a housewife, but first my sister worked. She worked in Atlanta in a department store. When she got married, she worked in a department store in Atlanta. And then she and her husband moved to Tacoma, Washington, in the Northwest, not in the Southeast. They diagonally crossed the United States, 5,000 kilometers, and she worked as an interior decorator in Tacoma for 4 years. And then they moved to Denver, Colorado, and she worked in a university, a design school, for several years. And then she worked in a restaurant for several years. She worked. When I was a teenager, when I was 14, I worked as a paper boy, repartiendo periódicos, when I was 14, in the middle of the night, 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock in the morning, every day, 7 days a week. I worked as a paper boy when I was 14. When I was 16, I worked in a supermarket called Safeway for 3 months. And then I changed, and I worked in another supermarket called Sipes. And then when I was 17, I worked in a pizza restaurant, a pizzeria. And I worked in that restaurant for about 8 or 9 months, part-time. And then I worked in a warehouse, almacén. I worked in a warehouse. When I was a teenager, I worked in several different jobs. I worked in a lot of jobs. All right? Okay, I'll be back in just a few minutes.
Hello everyone, ¿qué tal todos? How are you today? Well, we're going to begin, vamos a empezar ya. We're going to begin con un resumen, with a review of the last class, de la clase anterior. But first, como siempre, primero, let's say hello, and I can introduce my student, Almudena. Hello.
Hello, Hannah.
How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good, great.
And you, how are you?
Great, I feel good today. I feel great. All right. Well, we're going to review, un repaso, un resumen. All right. Empezando con un verbo muy importante, muy útil, to work for. Okay. Now, to work for significa que trabajar para. Okay. ¿Para quién trabajas? Yo trabajo para tal. Okay. So let's look at translations y también preguntas. Él trabaja para Vaughan Systems.
He works for Vaughan Systems.
Okay, good. Vaughan Systems.
Vaughan Systems.
Okay, muy bien. All right, so él trabaja para Vaughan Sistemas. Now, él trabaja, he works. So remember, he, él, trabaja, he works, he es tercera persona singular. He works. So no olvides poner la S con ese verbo. He works for, y la preposición for. He works for Vaughan Systems. Claro, todo el mundo aquí en España dice Vaughan Sistemas. Claro, por supuesto aquí todo el mundo conoce la empresa así, pero en realidad en inglés es Vaughan. Vaughan, la pronunciación en inglés es Vaughan Systems. All right, do you work for Vaughan Systems?
No, I don't work for Vaughan Systems.
Okay, do I work for Vaughan Systems?
Yes, you work for vowel systems.
Ok, good,
Oh.
muy bien. Cuesta, ¿no? Es un poco difícil. Claro, aquí todo el mundo están acostumbrado a decir Vaughan, 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 Vaughan. Vaughan sistemas, claro. Claro, en español decimos Vaughan, pero en inglés es Von, como si escribiera V-O-N, como escribiera así. Von Systems. Ok, ella trabajó para esa empresa el año pasado.
She worked for this
Esa.
for that company last year.
Ok, muy bien, muy bien. All right, toda la frase.
She worked for that company last year.
Muy bien. So remember, esto, esta, este, this. Esa, ese, eso, aquello, aquel, aquella, tal, that, right? So she worked, work en pasado, verbo regular, termina en ed, worked. Pero el último sonido, ese ed, la d al final, se pronuncia como si fuera una t, okay? So she worked for that company last year. Okay, do you work for the King of Spain?
No, I don't work for the King of Spain.
Okay, do I work for the government?
No, you don't work for the government.
Muy bien, very good. So el verbo to work for, trabajar para. Okay, now, otra parte de este resumen es cuando decimos un amigo mío, un amigo nuestro, un amigo de nosotros y tal. Okay, un amigo de él está de vacaciones,
A friend of
Oh, a friend of his.
a friend of his is on holiday.
Okay, good. Repeat, his.
His,
Okay, not his, pero his.
his.
Okay, muy bien. HH, suave en inglés. Remember, H, ese sonido gutural no existe en inglés. Como mi nombre, Hannah. Hannah, no es Hannah, Hannah. So his. A friend of his is on vacation. Now usamos el pronombre posesivo, possessive pronoun. No decimos a friend of him. No, him es el complemento. No queremos eso. We want el pronombre posesivo, his. A friend of his is on vacation. Okay, ask me if a friend of mine is in Spain.
Is a friend of yours in Spain?
Good, very good. Is a friend of yours in Spain? Okay, so hay un amigo tuyo en España. Again, posesivo, pronombre posesivo. A friend of yours, con esa al final. Not a friend of you, ni a friend of your, no, a friend of yours in Spain. Y contesto, yes, a friend of mine, un amigo mío, a friend of mine is in Spain. Okay. Does a friend of ours live in Italy?
Yes, a friend of
Ours con ese.
ours lives
Lives.
in Italy.
Okay, toda frase.
Yes, a friend of ours lives in Italy.
Muy bien. Yes, a friend of ours con la S. No olvidéis, usamos aquí el pronombre posesivo. Okay, a friend of ours lives y a friend es tercera persona, así que el verbo tiene que llevar la S. A friend of ours lives in Italy. Okay, so repasamos. Let's look at the possessive pronouns. Repeat, mine,
Mine,
yours,
yours,
his,
his,
hers,
hers,
ours,
ours,
theirs.
theirs.
Muy bien. So, in order to use this structure, para usar esta estructura hay que saber muy bien, estudiar muy bien los pronombres posesivos, okay? So, keep practicing and see you next time. Bye-bye.
Do you mind if I change to camera one? Do you mind? Do you mind if I change to camera one? En español probablemente diríais, ¿te importa que cambie? Pasando al subjuntivo y usando que. ¿Te importa? ¿Te importa que cambie? En inglés decimos, ¿te importa si cambio? Siempre es así en inglés. Do you mind if I change? Do you mind if I change to camera one? Thank you. All right. Do you mind if I speak to you on camera 1 only? Thank you. Do you mind if I use these papers? You don't mind? Okay, thank you. Do you mind if I use the pencils? Thank you. Do you mind if I take out a pencil? Okay, fine. Well, do you mind if I take a blue pencil out? No problem? Good. Okay. Do you mind if I put it behind my ear? No? Good, thank you. Do you mind if I take out a red pencil? Do you mind? Do you mind if I take out a red pencil? You don't mind? Thank you. Do you mind if I hold the pencil up in front of you? You don't understand. Do you mind if I hold the pencil up in front of you? Look. Do you mind if I do this? Do you mind if I do this? No? You don't mind? Do you mind if I shake the pencil back and forth? Do you mind if I do this? You don't mind? Okay, good. Do you mind if I hold the pencil? Do you mind if I hold the pencil upside down? You don't mind? Okay. I'm holding the pencil upside down. Do you mind if I hold the pencil right side up? Right side up? You don't mind? Okay, like that. Do you mind if I hold the pencil horizontally? Like this? You don't mind? Okay, good. Do you mind if I put the pencil on the table? You don't mind? Fine. Do you mind if I take the pen from my ear? Do you mind? Good, thank you. It bothers me. Do you mind if I put it between my teeth? You don't mind? Or do you mind if I put it in my mouth? You don't mind? Like this? Like to talk? Do you mind if I take it out? Thank you. It's not easy to teach English with a pencil in your mouth. All right. Do you mind if I put it on the table with the other pencil? You don't mind? All right. Do you mind if I take all the pencils out at the same time? Come on. Do you mind if I take them all out? You don't mind? Okay, thank you. Do you mind if I change the pencils to my other hand? If I change hands? You don't mind? Do you mind? You don't mind. Thank you. Do you mind if I put them back in the pencil holder? You don't mind? Okay, fine. Do you mind if I play with this while I teach? It calms my nerves. I get nervous when I'm teaching on television. All of the lights, the cameras, Maria, the people in the control room, it makes me nervous. So, when I have this paper clip, siempre se dice la palabra paper. Un clip no significa nada en inglés. Hay que precisar qué tipo de clip. Tie clip, sujeta corbatas. Paper clip, sujeta papeles. Do you mind if I play with this paper clip while I teach? Do you mind? Okay. Do you mind if there's something, my hair is falling. Do you mind if I put the hair back? Okay. Do you mind if I speak slowly? I prefer to speak slowly no. I prefer to speak calmly and an easy way to make English accessible to you. Later, in the intermediate class, in the advanced class, como una metralleta, like a machine gun. But that's not the objective now. My objective in the basic course is not your ear. It's not my priority. Later, your ear becomes more and more priority, but not now. So do you mind if I speak relatively slowly? Do you mind if I speak clearly? Do you mind if I use accessible grammar? Do you mind? All right. Do you mind if I take a sip of water? I'm a bit thirsty. Do you mind if I drink some water? No? Thank you. Do you mind if I put the cup down? Can I? Can I put the cup down? Do you mind? Okay, thank you. Do you mind if I get up? Yeah, I need to leave. Do you mind if I get up? You do. You want me to stay? All right. Listen, I'm starting to get tired of Maria as my floor manager. I think it's time to make a change. What do you think? Don't you think it's a good idea sometimes to change? I think it's a good idea to fire Maria, despedirla a la calle. because I think it's a good idea to rotate floor technicians, don't you? Do you mind if I fire her? ¿Te importa que la eche? No? Well, excuse me, you don't mind. Sorry, Maria. Okay. But you do. Paula, yes. So, for the moment, I'm not going to fire her. Besides, besides, I'm not her boss. So I can't fire her. Okay? I can't. I'm not her boss. So, even if you don't mind, I can't fire her. All right? Now, do you mind if I continue for a few more minutes? Do you mind if I continue for 2 or 3 minutes? How much time do we have left, Maria? How much time? About 2 minutes? Do you mind if we have 2 minutes left? We have 2 minutes left. Do you mind if I continue? Do you mind if I continue teaching do you mind? Or are you getting tired of do you mind? Para que un español asimile una forma, un español o un turco o un chino, da igual, o un norteamericano, para asimilar una forma o estructura en otro idioma, tiene que oírlo 1000 veces. Pum, 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 pum. A fuerza de golpes, pum, boom, boom, entra. Okay. Do you mind if I continue repeating do you mind? Do you mind if? Lo importante aquí es que si decís te importa que, ya tienes un problema. Te importa si. Do you mind if I smoke a cigarette? Do you mind if I smoke a pencil? Do you mind if I smoke a pencil? Do you mind if I smoke? Te importa que fume? It's very common English. Do you mind if I smoke? Do you mind if I order some wine? I know that you don't drink, but I'll order a half bottle of wine for myself. Do you mind if I order some wine? Do you mind? I hope you don't mind, because I like to drink a half bottle of wine for lunch or for dinner. And really, for me to drink water during a meal, it's just not the same. It's just not the same. So do you mind if I order some wine for myself? Okay. I know that you and your association are abstemious, that you don't drink, and you are against alcohol, but do you mind if I have a drink? Do you mind if I drink some wine during the lunch? And do you mind if I leave you now? Do you mind if I leave you now? Do you mind if I pass you to another teacher? You don't mind? Good. I'll pass you to another teacher. Do you mind if I just remain silent for a few minutes? I'm really tired. I need to take a rest. So do you mind if I don't teach you for a moment? I don't feel like teaching, so if you don't mind, I would prefer to say nothing. So do you mind if I simply look at you, look at the camera? Do you mind if I contemplate the camera? Do you mind if I just simply sit here and do nothing? I'm really tired now, so do you mind if I take a break? Really, I need a break. And I know that another teacher is waiting, so do you mind if I simply say goodbye now? Do you mind if I say goodbye and pass you to the other teacher? Or do you want me to continue? I don't want to continue. If you don't mind, I will pass you to another teacher. If you don't mind. Do you mind? Do you mind if I say goodbye for the moment? Do you mind if I hand you over to another teacher? Do you mind? I hope you don't, pero da igual. There's another teacher.
Hello and welcome. Thank you. My name is Kyle, and I'm here today with Esther. Esther, how are you?
Fine, thank you. How are you, Kyle?
Great, doing great. Esther, do you mind if I ask you a question?
No, I don't mind.
Okay. Do you mind if I ask you a question? No, I don't mind. Kyle, I don't mind if you ask me a question. Okay. Do you mind if I ask you maybe 30 questions?
No, I don't mind if you ask me 30 questions.
Okay, all right, we'll see. I'll see if I can do it. So, do you mind if subject verb? Okay. Do you mind if I start now?
No, I don't mind if you start now.
If you start again.
I don't mind if you start now.
Nice, yes. So that S, you have to remember to really attack that S. Do you mind if I start now? Again.
Do you mind if I start now?
No, okay, okay. I don't mind. I'm going to start, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Do you mind if I sit like this? Do you mind if I sit like this, Esther?
No, I don't mind if you sit like that.
Yeah. I think I mind it. I'm not going to sit like this. I don't feel comfortable, but you don't mind, do you? You
No.
don't mind if I sit like that?
No, I don't mind.
Do you mind if I hold a pen while I talk to you?
No, I don't mind if you hold the pen while you are talking to me
Yeah, or while I talk to you.
or while you talk to me.
Okay, okay. Do you mind if I drink some water?
No, I don't mind if you drink some water.
Okay. Do you mind at home? Do you mind if I drink some water? Do you mind? No? Okay, quickly. Because my throat gets very dry. So, okay. Do you mind if I speak French for the next 10 minutes?
Yes, I mind if you speak French for the next 10 minutes.
Yes. Do they mind? Do they mind if I speak French?
Sure, they mind if you speak French for the next 10 minutes.
Exactly. I'm not here to speak French, right? They would mind at home, right? So, okay. So ask me if I mind if it's cold outside.
Do you mind if it's cold outside?
No, I don't mind if it's cold outside. I like cold days. I do. Do you mind if it's cold outside?
Yes, I mind if it's cold outside.
Okay. Do you mind if it rains in the summer?
Yes, I mind if it rains in the summer.
Okay. Do farmers mind if it rains in the summer?
Yes, farmers mind if it rains in the summer.
But they need some rain, right?
Yes.
They need some rain to grow the crops, right? It depends, I suppose. Do you mind if we change seats?
No, I don't mind if we change seats.
Okay. Would the production team, or does the production team mind if we change seats?
Yes, the production team mind if we change seats.
The production team
Minds?
minds, yeah.
Okay.
They, right, but the production team, it's one team.
Yeah.
So the team minds if we change seats. So we're not going to change seats. Okay. So do you mind if I blow my nose?
Yes, I mind if you blow your nose.
Okay, I'll wait until after the class. You know, but I'll wait until we're done. Do you mind, at home, do you mind if people are rude to you? Yes, I mind if people are rude to me. Of course, yes. Do you mind if the phone company increases your bill? If they increase your bill, do you mind that?
Yes, I mind if the phone company increases the bill.
Yes, my bill.
My bill.
Of course, yes. Okay, ask me if I mind if my students ask me questions.
Do you mind if your students ask you questions?
Perfect. Do you mind if your students ask you questions? No, I don't mind. It's my job to answer them, right? Okay. Do you mind if they ask us to film for 6 more hours?
If I mind?
Do you mind if they ask us to film for 6 more hours?
Yes, I mind
Sweating?
if they ask us to film for 6 hours more.
For 6 more hours?
For 6 more hours.
Okay, okay. Ask me if I mind if they make me work all night. Kyle, do you mind if they make you work all night? Yes, I mind. I can't do that, right? I can't work all night. Ask me if I mind if my brother comes to stay at my house.
Do you mind if your brother comes to stay in your house?
Yeah, in your house or at your house. No, I don't mind. I don't mind if he comes to stay at my house. Ask me if I mind if he brings 8 friends with him.
Do you mind if he brings 8 friends with him?
Yeah. Yes, I do. I
Yeah.
mind if he brings 8 friends. 1 friend, okay, but 8 friends, right? So remember, at home, do you mind? Do you mind? Do you mind? Okay? Now, ask me if I mind if you smoke.
Yes, I mind.
But ask me if I mind
Oh,
if
yes,
you
of
smoke.
course. Do you mind if I smoke?
Say that again. Kyle,
Do you mind if I smoke?
Do you mind if I smoke? Do you mind if I smoke? Yes, I do, Esther. You can't smoke now. We have to wait till we're done.
Yes.
Right? But you don't smoke, do you?
No, I don't.
Esther doesn't smoke. I'm just trying to set you up with some questions. No, she doesn't smoke. Do you mind if I smoke a cigar right now, a giant cigar? Like a
Yes.
Fidel Castro cigar right now? Do you
Yes,
mind?
I mind if you smoke.
A big cloud of smoke? Okay, she minds, so I'm not going to do it. Okay. Do you mind if I drink a glass of wine during the class?
No, I don't mind if you drink a glass of wine in the class.
Could be a good idea.
Yes.
Could be a good idea, I think. Do you mind if I take a break right now?
No, I don't mind if you take a break right now.
Do you mind if I leave right now before the class is over?
Yes, I mind if you leave right now before the class is over.
Okay, okay. Do you mind if they turn the heat up in the studio?
If they turn up the heat
Do you
up.
mind if they turn the heat up, to turn up the heat?
The heat. No, I don't mind if they turn the heat up.
You don't mind?
No.
Do you mind if they turn the air conditioning on?
Yes, I mind if
really?
they turn the air conditioning on.
Do I mind if they turn the air conditioning on?
Yes, I mind.
Do I mind?
No, you don't mind.
No. I mind if they turn the heat on, but I don't mind if they turn the air conditioning on because I get hot in here, right? Okay. Does your mother mind if you never call her? Does your mother mind if you never call her? Yes, she minds if I never call her, right? Ask me if I mind taking the bus every morning.
Do you mind taking the bus every morning?
No, I don't mind taking the bus every morning. No. Do you mind walking in the rain? No, I don't mind walking in the rain. Ask me if I mind walking in the rain. Kyle, do you mind walking in the rain? Yes, I mind it. I mind it. I don't like walking in the rain. I mind it. Okay. Do you mind if we finish right now?
No, I don't mind if we finish right now.
Okay, she doesn't mind. I don't mind either because we're out of time, Esther. But thank you.
Yes. Thank you, guys.
Great job. Great job to you at home. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Okay. You know, this camera sometimes doesn't work. Sometimes it doesn't work well. And when this camera doesn't work, we have a problem. Maria is afraid. Tiene miedo de esta cámara. The camera number 2. Because sometimes the camera doesn't work. So, we start the show, always, my segment, we start on this camera, and then quickly we change. But sometimes I spend more time than expected. Sometimes I spend more time than usual with camera number 2, and it's dangerous. Peligroso. It's dangerous because this camera doesn't work sometimes, and then we have to repeat everything. So she's constantly telling me to move to camera number 1 because camera number 1 works perfectly, but camera number 2 doesn't. That's the reason. That's why I change every time, is because camera number 2 doesn't always work properly. Sometimes it doesn't work, and we have to repeat the sequences. So, without any further delay, let's move to camera number 1 because camera number 1 always works well. Let's move. All right. You see, it's working now. Aquí está funcionando bien, eh? Can you see me? If you can see me, it means that the camera works. If you can't see me, the camera isn't working right. It's malfunctioning. To malfunction is funcionar mal. Malfunction. It's malfunctioning, which means it's not working well. Okay? Now this is a paperclip. It works well. This is not electronic. This is not an electronic paperclip. And it's not an electric paperclip. It's a manual paperclip. And watch. You press like this, and this part opens up. You see it opens? And then you put it around the paper, and you close it. And you put these things down. You see it works perfectly. It's old technology. It's low tech, not high tech. This is a low-tech paper clip. And to tell you the truth, para ser sincero, to be honest, para ser honesto, to tell you the truth, I prefer low technology paper clips, not high tech paper clips, okay? And it works, because it works, yes. At home, in my house, in my kitchen, we have 3 can openers. 3 can openers para abrir latas. We have a very sophisticated machine, and you put the can in, and you push a button, and it perfect. But half the time it doesn't work. It breaks down. It, kaput. We have a problem. And now that highly sophisticated can opener is simply an adornment in the kitchen. It's pretty. It says, wow, cool. I like your can opener. Can I try it? Can I try it? No, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Why not? Every time, if we fix it, if we repair it, it works for 1 month, and then it breaks. Oh, that's too bad. The other can opener is an interesting thing that you put and you twist, and it goes around. And it works fine, usually. But sometimes, and then finally we have a very primitive, typical can opener in Spain that you put here, and it works perfectly. Yeah, it works perfectly. It's low technology can opener. I prefer low technology can openers to high technology can openers because they work. Also, we have corkscrews. Corkscrews. Screw is tornillo. Cork is corcho. Tornillo de corcho is sacacorchos. Now, you go to a specialized wine shop and you can see all kinds of sophisticated chirimbolos, contraptions for opening wine bottles. The more sophisticated it is, the less it works, or the slower it is. The best corkscrew that works perfectly is the typical, and it works perfectly. Okay, it works perfectly. All right. Now here we have lights. A lot of lights, about 29 different lights that are shining on me, but there are 2 that don't work. And during this, between segments, when next door you're with Fitz or with Alberto, Seve comes in here and looks at the light and says, otra vez. Once again, it's not working. And I say to Seve, it's not working. And Maria says, Seve, it hasn't been working for 2 weeks. He says, 2 weeks? Yes, you need to call a specialist to repair the light because that light up there doesn't work. And there's one over there that doesn't work either. So, if you have trouble seeing me, it's because of Seve and those 2 lights. But I don't think you have any trouble. Can you see me okay? Okay, because the rest of the lights work. El verbo funcionar, usamos trabajar simplemente. Se puede usar function, pero no se usa. Sí se usa para cuando algo se estropea, que ha habido un malfunction, un mal funcionamiento, malfunction. But that's a technical word. It's a good word, but it's relatively technical. To work. No funciona, it doesn't work. Yeah. My wife, sometimes my wife doesn't work. And on the back, my wife's back, hay un compartimento, I open the compartment, I adjust my wife, and then she starts to work perfectly. And she says, darling, good evening, I hope you had a nice day. Would you like a whiskey? What can I do for you? Would you like dinner now? Please sit down in your favorite chair. Let me bring you your batin, your robe, and your slippers. Then I know my wife is working perfectly. But sometimes my wife malfunctions. She malfunctions, so I need to repair her myself, or I need to call a specialist for wife repair, okay? And then she works perfectly. So my wife works perfectly, usually, okay? Now my car works very well, and my computer works perfectly. I never have any trouble. I never have any trouble with my computer. It works every day, perfectly. I don't understand other people who have constant problems with their computers. Oh, my computer crashed. I lost all my information. Well, what's the problem? I don't know. My computer doesn't work very well. That's strange. I've been using computers for 25 years, and I've never had a single problem. Maybe I'm lucky, or maybe I treat my computers better, but they work for me. They don't work for other people, apparently. All right, I'll be back in just a few minutes.
Hello everyone, my name is Layla. Today we're going to work with 5 new vocabulary words and the verb work. That's why I said it in the beginning, okay? So 5 new vocabulary words and drills with the verb work in the past. And to help me do all of this, Esther is here with me. Esther, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, Leila. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. Are you ready to start practicing?
Yes, I am.
Good. Okay, so let's start with the vocabulary. Is that okay with you?
Yes, okay.
Perfect. At home, just remember to always say it out loud as often as possible, okay? Oops. So, the first one is sujetar o sostener.
To hold.
To hold.
Hold.
Exactly. It's like an OU sound. To hold. One more time.
To hold.
Good. Okay. So, at home, to hold. Remember, it's like an OU sound, okay? To hold. Okay. The next one is ningunos.
None.
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 None, exactly. And ninguno?
None.
Exactly, okay, so it's the same, right? Ninguno, ningunos, none, okay? But normally none, we use it for the plural, okay? For example, if we say, ninguno de ellos, none of them, okay? If it's more than 3 people, because if it's only 2 people, ninguno de los dos, for example, would be neither one of them. Okay? All right, so the next one, this part right here, this part of the, what is this part of the body?
The neck.
Exactly, okay? So at home, neck. Okay, also a famous Italian singer, right? Neck, okay. The next one, when you have a cold, what is that? What do you do?
To cough.
Exactly, okay, just say it one more time for me.
To cough.
To cough.
To cough.
Exactly. Okay, so remember the F sound at the end, to cough. All right, and last but not least, colgar.
To hang.
To hang. One more time.
To hang.
Good, okay. To hang. All right, are you ready to start with the verb work?
Yes.
Okay, so work, what does work mean in Spanish?
Trabajar.
Okay, yes, but in this case, we're going to use it when we say funcionar, okay, like the way something works. Funciona la máquina? Translate for me.
Does the machine work?
Okay, good. All right, you saved yourself there. She said it wrong, but then she immediately corrected herself. Okay, so how do you say máquina?
Machine.
Good. Okay, machine. Never machine. Okay, machine. All right, so you ready?
Yes.
Good. And at home, remember to always practice out loud as many times as possible. Okay, so all of them, say them for me in the affirmative, okay? Because this way we work the past. Ask me if my alarm clock worked yesterday.
Did the alarm clock?
Did your
alarm clock work yesterday?
Yeah. Okay, so now say yes for me. Answer it for me because I want you doing all the work.
Okay.
Okay, so
yes, the alarm clock worked yesterday.
good. Okay, so it has a hard T sound, worked. Okay, because the K is an unvoiced or non-voiced sound. We don't use our vocal cords, so we have to use the T. Okay, so one more time. Did my alarm clock work yesterday?
Yes, it worked yesterday.
Good. Okay, that T sound, beautiful. Okay, ask me if the printer works.
Does the printer work?
One more time.
Does the printer work?
Thus or does?
Does the printer work?
Okay, good. Does the printer work? Yes, it works. Okay, ask me if it worked the day before yesterday.
Did the printer work the day before yesterday?
Okay, yes, it
Worked.
very good. The day before yesterday. Okay, so yes, it worked the day before yesterday. Okay, good. Ask me if the fax machine worked 2 days ago.
Did the fax machine work 2 days ago?
Okay, no, it didn't work 2 days ago. Ask me why it didn't work 2 days ago.
Why the fax
Careful, careful. Okay, so why? Remember, when you're asking a direct question and it's not with the verb to be, and the first word is not the subject, we need the auxiliary verb, right?
yes.
So ask me why the fax machine didn't work 2 days ago.
Why didn't the fax machine work 2 days ago?
Okay, good. The fax machine didn't work 2 days ago because it was broken. Okay? Ask me if my cell phone works.
Does your cell phone work?
No, it doesn't work. Ask me why it doesn't work.
Why doesn't it work?
Good, okay? It doesn't work because it doesn't have any battery. Okay? Ask me if it worked yesterday.
Did it work yesterday?
Okay, so the answer is affirmative. Okay? So tell me.
Yes, it worked yesterday.
Good, okay, the T sound. All right? Okay, so now we're going to do some of the other ones, but with the negative, okay? But don't worry, I'll tell you, okay? So ask me if my alarm clock worked a week ago.
Did your alarm clock work a week ago?
No, it didn't work a week ago. Ask me why.
Why your
Careful.
Why did your alarm clock?
Why? Okay, so it didn't, right? So you have to tell me in the negative. Why didn't?
Why didn't your alarm clock work 2 days ago?
A week ago.
A week ago.
One more time.
Why didn't your alarm clock work a week ago?
Good. Okay, so what does she want to know? She wants to know why my alarm clock didn't work a week ago. It didn't work a week ago because it didn't have any batteries. Okay? Ask me if the printer worked the week before last.
Did the printer work the day before last?
The week before last.
Oh, did the printer work the week before last?
Okay, good. All right, so what does she want to know? She wants to know if the printer worked.
The week before last.
Okay, good. No, it didn't. Ask me why.
Why didn't the printer work the week before last?
Good, okay. The printer didn't work the week before last because it didn't have any toner. Okay, good. All right, so work as in to function, when something functions. Okay? All right, the last one. Ask me if the fax machine worked 2 months ago.
Did the fax machine work 2 months ago?
Okay, no, it didn't. Ask me why.
Why didn't the fax machine work?
The
fax machine work 2 months ago.
Okay, ask me one more time.
Why didn't the fax machine work 2 months ago?
Oh, 2 months.
2 months ago.
Okay, the fax machine didn't work 2 months ago because it was, how do you say this when enchufar? To plug.
To plug.
Right? It
Okay.
didn't work because it was unplugged. No estaba enchufada. Okay, so unplugged. All right, so there we go. The verb work as in funcionar. So that's all the time we have for today. Thank you very much for coming, and I will see you again next time. Goodbye.
All right. Class 174. Worked. Does it work? Etc. And do you mind? Do you mind if? Do you mind if I sit here? Do you mind if I speak to you? Do you mind if I sermon you again? Sermonear. In English is sermon. Sermonar, we say in English. Do you mind if I sermon you again? Do you mind if I tell you the same things I tell you every day? Do you mind if I talk about effort? Do you mind if I talk about study? Do you mind if I talk about how you should invest your time? Do you mind if I tell you about the benefits of speaking English well? It provides a lot of benefits. People who speak English well have more options and opportunities in the professional world than you. A lot more. So you need to remember this. It's just very, very simple. If you speak English well, you have more opportunities. Es así de sencillo. It's that simple.